Howdy folks, I'm Dan Gross, and welcome to this brand new episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight. This season we'll be filming in this warm, local, and creative space, Bop Shop Records. Located in Brighton, New York, Bop Shop Records is your Rochester home for blues, classic rock, jazz, and Americana in vinyl for the past 35 years. Joining me today is Personal Blend, a band that's laying it down as one of Rochester's great party bands with a fun, reggae sound. This 7-piece group, though there are 5 here today. The 2 that are missing on Justin Lloyd and Luke Perry on trombone. We want to make sure we gave them a shout out. And when they're playing, they're sure to get you off your feet. Today we have Joe Kaplan and James Franz on guitar and vocals. Jared Bierce on keys, Jay Kaplan on bass, and Nick Henley on drums, who are here to talk about their band and their debut full-length album, Skin Deep. They're also playing November 25th at Three Heads Brewing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we want to make sure that you guys were informed about that as well. Guys, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, glad to be here.
So, well, before the show, we were joking around, so this should be a fun interview for you guys. So this started in February of 2013, so you guys have been around for a little bit. So if you could tell us, how did this group get started, and how did it evolve from there?
Oh boy, that's a long story.
lay it on us, man.
Oh yeah.
The three of us over here were in a band previous to Personal Blend, and we were jamming with Nick a week before that old band disbanded.
Wow.
And from that point, we just picked up where he left off.
Yeah.
And then Jared joined up soon after that.
So what was that original group playing then? But when it was just you 3 guys, what kind of music was it?
It was like more like funk.
Okay.
But we were adding in reggae elements, which would be the precursor to Personal Blend.
It was
Okay.
a good mesh into Personal Blend.
Right. So when you guys were playing all this stuff, what made you decide to go to Nick and to go to to go to these guys and say, "Oh, hey, we're looking to start something." What was that like?
Well, it's kind of actually me. I think I just started hanging out with them. There's a drum kit there. Why not go on, hop on, have a good time, And then it just so happened to be that band ended, and they were like, "Hey, you're not bad. Let's, you want to do something." And so,
Not bad. That's a good compliment.
I was like, let's do something. Why not?
And we all went to the same high school too, so we all grew up together, like all hung out.
Right. So you knew each other before.
We were all
this.
friends before.
Yep. So in that funk band, that reggae sound was developing. So when all the players got together, was there a firm decision saying, "Hey, we're gonna do reggae," or is it just something that happened naturally?
We had an MC at one point.
Yeah.
And he left, and then I just, started taking lead.
Right. So hey, we're just gonna do reggae now.
Yeah.
So how did that sound develop then? Because you're starting off from a folk group, and if you listen to them now, there's maybe some folk, but it's really sort of reggae rock now. I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you guys too much in a box, but I think those are the 2 words that we can kind of associate with you guys. So how did you develop the sound? If you're coming from funk influences and different groups, you had a rapper at one point. So how did you kind of settle on that sound?
We all liked reggae music, Cali reggae music and stuff like that.
Always listen to it.
Right,
Yeah.
so it was just something common amongst all of us, and we all gravitated towards that, and just kind of stuck, and we went with it. So
A common thread.
And my first take of live reggae music was Giant Panagoria Dub Squad
So,
in 2007. That was like the first time I saw them live.
Yeah.
So that had a big impact on me. And he was more like with the Slightly Stupid. And then after trading music and loving all the styles, we kind of helped develop our own sound.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because maybe a lot of people watching, you say reggae and the first thought's Bob Marley.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bob Marley is great,
Of course.
but there's other stuff too. So, what was this sort of a conscious decision to say we're going to do this reggae rock thing, or was just when you guys were playing it sort of came
more
out?
just what we were all interested
yeah,
in.
more so like what we were interested in at the time, and what we were feeling. We like there's aspects of all kinds of reggae music in our music, but not necessarily like we're just like roots reggae, or we're gonna be like straight like West Coast, more surfy reggae. We kind of try to incorporate everything, which makes us a little bit unique, because then we develop our own sound, which is cool.
Yeah. Plus, we all enjoy different styles of music. Like Jimmy comes from like a punk background. Joe's more like rootsy.
Yeah.
Nick likes.
I came from extreme
metal.
death metal.
I don't know if I was gonna say I don't know if I heard the death metal in what you guys play, but there's some
heavier.
There's some.
there's some heavier stuff, but
I played
there's
metal.
and there's actually some pop punk too. I wouldn't have said that listening to it, but if you check out their album Skin Deep, and we'll give you links for that, by the way, you can hear it a little bit. So in developing the sound, was this something you were creating while you were playing out, or did you just a firm idea of what it was going to be at your first gig, or did this something like, hey, we like playing this type of music for this crowd?
We played our first show 2 or 3 months after the band started. We opened up for Big V and the Kids Table at Water Street Club site at the time, and our friends in Scanato, now Burn It Up, hooked us up with the show.
Yeah, Scanato's been playing for a long time.
Yeah. And Justin, a drum player, is our new member as well.
Yeah,
cool.
He's from Burn It Up. So.
Nice.
And so we had a few songs from the previous band, and we were actually writing a couple songs as well, and we incorporated a couple covers. We only needed a half-hour set for the show.
Yeah.
We threw it together and, just hope for the best. And we had a good crowd and a good response. And that's what we hoped for. And
that's where the legend began.
From that,
it wasn't a failure. It was
Every
great.
time we write a new song, too, like everyone has different ideas as to where they want the song to go.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because it ties into the name. At the end of the day, what we come up with, the product we come up with, is like our own personal blend.
It's true to us.
Between all of us, and that's like, it's cool to relate that to the band name because it's like, everyone has their little personal take. We all work with each other and make it come out.
I'm glad you
inputs there and there.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually my next question. So good job, guys.
Oh,
they were playing with my script earlier. I don't know if they saw it. So you said that song comes in, you all have your own taste on it. But so how does that process start? Do you have a dedicated songwriter, or just someone comes in and is like, hey, I got this drum riff, or what's
right?
The
there might be someone that comes up with like the general form or idea, and then we all kind of just go off that.
Yeah,
background.
We'll throw in ideas, or like someone will kind of write a general form for the most part, but it's usually a big collaborative.
Nick might come up with a drum beat, or Jimmy might come up with a guitar line, or Joe might write some vocals, and we'll just like add to that.
Come up with a structure and.
And this ties into my next thing too. I think the more I do this, the more I'm starting to hear the Rochester sound in everything that we do. And I think I'm narrowing it down. Everything that, even what you guys do, it sounds arranged. It sounds very polished. It sounds like, something very specific. It's not just dudes kind of jamming.
I'm actually glad you're saying that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's really good to hear.
Well, the thing is, because of the Rochester community and the music scene and how it's laid out, it's competitive in a way,
but it's also cooperative too.
Very cooperative.
Definitely very cooperative.
We try to help one another.
Everybody
Promote
helps
each other
out.
for
And
sure.
So I had a specific question. Where the horn arrangements come from? Then, do any of you guys come from a formal music background? Do you guys actually write out the horn parts? On sheet music.
Justin is kind of
Luke
was more free form. And Luke, our trombone player, he would kind of do his Luke Perry thing, and he's great.
He's
but
used pedal boards
Justin,
before.
He would experiment with a lot of different sounds and stuff. But Justin had kind of came in, and as soon as Justin started working with Luke, they kind of started solidifying certain horn parts and writing certain parts for songs, which is huge. So on that aspect of writing the horns and stuff like that, Justin is kind of taking the lead. Doing that stuff.
You can hear both of that too. It was in the first track off your new album. Can you remind me what that was called again?
To the Party.
Right. So in that one, that was kind of the first thing I noticed. Is like there's some synth stuff going on in the horns, not a lot, but you layer it in a specific way. But it still sounds arranged too.
On the album, props to Malcolm Williamson. He wrote the horn lines for the album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Matt Goodwin.
That's your shout.
And Matt Goodwin, who recorded us, also played trumpet on the album.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about that a little bit. So this is in an age of EPs. When everything, we got a new EP, we got a new single. This is a full length album.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
10 songs.
So just tell us about that process. What was it like, kind of forming everything, picking everything, and what was that like?
It was 2 years in the making getting this album out, and we got bored easily, so we wrote a lot of material. And so we had to make sure we knew which songs we wanted on the album.
Yeah.
Pick the top ones.
Some songs didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can have an album of deep cuts in the future.
Yeah.
Archive album.
Right, yeah.
But we kind of traded back and forth on whether or not which song we wanted on what part of the album, the arrangement, the order of the album. And we started out in Farmington and then eventually moved to Black Dog Studios, where we've been working with Matt Goodwin the whole time. He plays a big part in developing our sound and on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's our master engineer.
He's the main man.
He's the main dude.
So, you guys have this available on a ton of different outlets. I'll see if I can name it. I know Bandcamp.
Yep.
iTunes, Spotify, and everything. But I'll say this: Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Their Bandcamp
Okay,
is great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And YouTube as well.
That is
Amazon, Google.
Yep. All that.
Oh, these guys have all the bases covered.
Yep.
Personal Blend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey,
This
thank
was a
you.
lot of fun. You can check them out at Three Heads Brewing on November 25th. And don't forget to check out the links, and we have them all set for you, for the new album, Skin Deep. I'm Dan Gross, and thank you so much for watching this episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight. We'll see you again soon.
Check it out.
See?
Peace.
When you pop in that bottle, then you tie me up. And a couple ice cubes, and I'll pack this cough. 'Cause I know which way you play. Funny thing, I've always played this way. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Yo, it's about that change, so put me on your sideline. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase, put me on your sideline. When you pop in that bottle and you tie me up in a couple ice cubes, and I'll pack this cough. 'Cause I know which way you play. Funny thing, I've always played this way. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase to put me on your sideline. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase to put me on your sideline. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase to put me on your sideline. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase to put me on your sideline. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase to put me on your sideline. And it's hard sometimes, like lemon and lime. Oh, it's about that chase, ooh yeah. Her loving like a typical emotion. Broke the violence, spit the love potion. Caught up in this fine arrangement. 25 to life is the sense that we're facing. When I stare into your eyes, yeah, I see the light. Look on up, that's right. I'ma hold you tight. Here we are, in an orderly fashion. Can you grasp up the words that I'm passing? Compassion, she's full of it. I gotta keep her by my side, too legit to quit. 3:15 in the morning, drunken and explode. Look at her and she sees everything I wanted. When she tell me when she's good though, here she knocking on my front door. Lovely lady, when I knew I felt ya. Here we were sitting in the Her loving like a typical emotion. Broke the violence with the love potion. Caught up in this fine arrangement. 25 to life is the sentence that we're facing. When I stare into your eyes, yeah, I see that light. Look on up, that's right. Yeah, I'm on you tight. Here we are in an orderly fashion. Can you grasp up the words that I'm passing? Compassion, she's full of it. I gotta keep her by my side too legit to quit. 3:15 in the morning, drunk and I'd explode. I look at her and she sees everything I wanted. When she's telling me when she's good though, here she knocking on the front door.
Lovely when I knew I felt you. We were sitting in the back of the car, thunder rolling in the distance. Makes you wonder how far. Lovely when I knew I felt you. We were sitting in the back of the car, thunder rolling in the distance. Makes you wonder how far. Lovely when I knew I felt you. We were sitting in the back of the car, thunder rolling in the distance. Makes you wonder how far. Lovely when I knew I felt ya. We were sitting in the back of the car, thunder rolling in the distance. Makes you wonder how far. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Oh, whoa, yeah. Oh, whoa, yeah. Because the worst of the world teaches dragging me low. I rely on you so. No matter near or far, I know where you are when you light up that road. So baby, inhale, release. Take that time to feel the breeze. So with their hands clutched so tight as we walk through the night with the free state of mind, everything is alright. Yeah, yeah. When I communicate to you, I speak of honesty and truth. And these are traits that you taught me, because you clawed in me skin deep. 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 Because you always at the forefront of my mind. So with a beauty like yours burning my retinas blind, yeah, yeah, always at the forefront of my mind. Leaving this world behind tonight, yeah, yeah. When I communicate to you, I speak of honesty and truth. And these are traits that you taught me, because you clawed in me skin deep. because you caught in me skin deep. Because you caught in me skin